The museum opens in just a few minutes, so we've got to scan the scene, catch the culprits, and solve the case ASAP in 5-Minute Mystery. Hey guys, and thanks for joining us at Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sarah Meadows, and today we're previewing the game 5-Minute Mystery, being brought to Kickstarter by Wiggles 3D. And it's from designer Connor Reed.
It's for 1 to 6 players, and it takes 5 minutes per round. Wiggles 3D sent us a prototype to check out, so let's take a look at how it's played.
To set a 5-minute mystery, you'll choose a case to solve and make any special changes you need to for the case.
Then you'll shuffle and deal out all the suspect cards to the players.
Randomly select a face-down culprit tile and place it in the center of the table, and set out the stacks of clue tiles.
Give each player a reference card and reset the Codex, and then you're ready to start the timer.
The top scene card will be revealed, and one player will start searching for symbols hidden in the image in order to relay them to the player controlling the Codex.
Once all of the symbols have been located and dialed in, the player will flip the scene to confirm that they are correct, and this allows them to uncover a clue.
The clue is flipped, and players will now gain valuable information about the culprit.
If the color barcode matches, it means that the culprit does have the pictured item in their possession. And, for example, if it does not, then it means that the culprit doesn't have a monocle.
All of the players then shed suspects from their hand based on this new knowledge. The Codex is passed to the next player, and the process is repeated until either the time runs out or the players are able to narrow it down to just one suspect.
When time is up, players check the culprit card, and if they are correct, they win the game. From the creators of 5-Minute Dungeon and 5-Minute Marvel comes a new addition to their lineup of 5-minute games. In this one, players will be using some pretty cool little components to find some hidden images, be able to decipher some clues, and hopefully narrow it down to one culprit in order to win the game.
In the game, players will have a scene card that they will be looking for 5 different symbols on, and the Codex has a variation of 5 different ways that those symbols may show up in the picture, and there's one of each type. And so they know that they're looking for some of those. Some of them are a little difficult to find. We did play this with our kids. They were able to jump in, although sometimes it took a little bit longer. Not just for the kids, for
sometimes
the adults
it was faster,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the kids are faster. And then relay that to the person who's in charge of the Codex, who will make sure that we have the right things and then gain a clue. Every clue you need to do a new scene to try and find the next clue. So sometimes you'll be able to breeze through quickly if you can get lucky and pick the right clues, tokens for the round. Otherwise, you're going to have to race pretty quickly to be able to go through the scene, find the clues, and then be able to narrow down that suspect list in your hand.
One of the things that I thought was interesting about the scene cards is that several of the scenes generally match, so that you can't memorize what combination of symbols is in it. You might be looking at the same room in both pictures, but one of them has the triangle with the 5 sides and the inside triangle, and the other one has the just triangle. So you've got to communicate that quickly. The nice thing about 5 minutes, obviously, is that there's almost no downtime in the game. Even if you're not the one looking at the picture and you're not the one doing the Codex, you're looking at your clue cards, or at the clue card, trying to figure out which one of your suspects doesn't have feathers and which one does have feathers, and you're trying to bleed that off. And by the time you've done that, it's pretty much now it's your turn to give the clues. And so it's a very fast-paced game. One of the things I like, though, is that it didn't quite feel as frantic as maybe some of the other 5-minute games. I don't know if that's just that the timer, I don't know. I liked the pace of this one a lot.
Yes, and those suspect cards, they have very fun illustrations on them, but it's not always apparent at first glance whether or not that suspect has an item. Some of them it's very easy, like if they have a hat. But some of them, like the monocle, you have to really search at the card to make sure that, yes, this one has a monocle, no, this one has glasses. So each one of the characters has 4 different attributes to them. So you'll be able to eliminate cards from your hand, and you'll have to really pay attention because we've had games where somebody trashed a card that ended up being the suspect.
Yeah, one of the neat things about the game are the case studies for each one. So some of the times you'll just be looking for one culprit, maybe you'll be looking for 2. Sometimes you have to use 2 scene cards. Like the cases will kind of shake up what you're doing for each round, so you will get some replayability. You're definitely going to want to play it more than one time because you'll finish that first 5-minute round. You'll be like, oh, okay, now I see how it works. Let's try this again, but let's use a different case so that it shakes it up a little bit.
Yeah, if this sounds like something you're interested in, you can check out 5-Minute Mystery coming to Kickstarter from Wiggles 3D. And thanks for joining us here at our channel and subscribing to Tantrum House.
And then decipher from there which culprit is the culprit. Which suspect. It's a 1 to 5 player, 1 to 6 player. I don't really know why the player count matters. Sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks.
But these 2 gumshoes, and now I forgot the lyrics,
are picking up the tracks.